Hello, everyone.
Welcome to episode number 3 of Chilled and Killed, a true crime podcast where we discuss a crime over a glass of wine or two. We're your hosts, Sam
And Amanda.
and this week we are discussing a story about a teenage girl who endured the ultimate sabotage from her two best friends.
For this week's wine, we chose 19 Crimes Sauvignon Blanc. Yes, you heard that right. Sauvignon Blanc.
I'm actually excited for this one.
Me too, because Sauvignon Blanc right now is my favorite. That's
Is
my
it?
go-to right now. Yep.
Mm.
So I was real excited when I saw that there was a 19 Crimes Sauvignon Blanc, because most of the time you only see reds.
Yeah, you don't usually get whites from 19 Crimes, but their reds are good from the ones that I have had. I think I've only had like one or two.
I've never had one, but don't you worry, we're going to give it a go.
Mm-hmm. Yummy.
And the thing with these, which is really cool, is their cork has a crime on it, like one of the 19 crimes. So I'm going to uncork this right now, and we'll see what it is.
We kind of decided to go for very fitting wines, like melodramatic.
Yep,
Sounds like it's screwing into a wall.
it does. It's my
Automatic cork
Ooh,
opener.
It hasn't been
working.
charged in a little bit.
Ooh, yummy.
Out it comes.
So funny.
All right.
So what does our 19 Crimes on that cork say?
Our crime is number 17, which if I go to the website and I look at it, so number 17 is, it says on the cork too, but it says, watermen carrying too many passengers on the Thames, if any drowned. That's not even a sentence. Here, look at it. I don't know. It does say online, it says on the interesting fact, in the 16th century, Acts of Parliament regulated the watermen working on the tidal Thames between Gravesend and Windsor.
So we have no idea what this cork means, but it's still fun.
It's cool, nonetheless. But here we go. This is what I care about.
If any of you are 19 Crimes fanatics, contact us. Let us know what this means. It would be greatly appreciated. That is a hefty pour.
Don't care.
Give me the same amount, please.
You got it.
Wonderful.
So, here's the other thing with this wine. If you don't know, these bottles are an augmented reality bottle, which is really cool. And they have an app that you can get on your phone, and it reads the image on the front of the bottle.
The guy, so on the 19 Crimes label, it's just a guy there, but the actual app will make this guy talk to you and tell him his story about what he committed, I guess.
So we took a video of it so you can see it. We'll upload it on our Instagram. So follow us at Chilled and Killed podcast on Instagram, and you'll see the little video of our guy telling us about his crime.
So Panda, what is the app called that you can have these bottles speak to you?
You just head to the App Store on your phone and you download the Living Wine Label app. And then you can scan, when you open it, the front of the bottle.
Yeah. Wicked cool. Definitely give it a go. And we haven't even drank it yet.
No,
so
I
we're
know.
advertising
Okay.
for this bottle of wine that we don't even know it's good.
Hey, let's give it a go.
Ooh. Are all Sauvignon blocks, Sauvignon blocks, grapefruity like that?
yes, but I feel like this one's less.
It is. It's less grapefruity.
Mm-hmm.
Which
do you prefer?
I do, but I'm starting to drink some, and I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh, I kind of
I
like the
like
grapefruity, and I hate grapefruit. But this one, if you're looking for like a Sauvignon Blanc block, whichever.
It is Blanc. They definitely tried to get creative and make it like a chopping block.
Yeah.
But Sauvignon Blanc.
But if you're trying to get into this, I think this is a pretty good starter one because it's not very powerful.
It's really not that dry.
It's definitely sweet.
Yeah,
but
Sauvignon Blanc tends to be on the drier side with like a heavy grapefruit, but this is really like,
it's pretty light.
yeah.
The flavors are still there, but it's very light in their flavors.
I'm gonna drink it.
I like it.
The only one we've gone out on a limb with is Melodramatic. The other ones I kind of thought I'd like.
Which we should bring in more reds and try those because we are definitely white fans, so we should probably start expanding our horizon.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. I'm going to read you the back of the bottle of this because I like to do that. So it does say Sauvignon Blanc is the 2019 wine. So 19 crimes turned convicts into colonists. Upon conviction, British rogues guilty of at least one of the 19 crimes were sentenced to live in Australia rather than death. For the rough-hewn prisoners who made it to shore, a new world awaited. As pioneers in a frontier penal colony, they forged a new country and new lives, brick by brick. 19 Crimes Sauvignon Blanc honors their brave contributions. To learn more about this and similar stories, please visit us at 19crimes.com and or download our Living Wine Labels AR app. Hashtag Talking Bottles.
Talking bottles.
Which makes me think of that song, Talking Bodies.
Yeah.
Not the same thing.
But would be fitting for this bottle of wine.
That's true, actually.
So far, I really like it.
Mm-hmm. And there's no bubbles. We don't have to worry about the bubbles.
Last week, the bubbles were so difficult to talk with.
Yeah. All right, so with all that little discussion, I'd say let's get into it. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
All right, so let me tell you a little bit about Skylar Neese. She was born on February 10th, 1996, and lived in Star City, West Virginia, which is a really small town. And according to the 2010 census, it had a population of only 1,825 people. In reference, my town has a population of almost 26,000 people, and Sam's town has a population of almost 5,000 people. So we're talking small. Skylar is the only child of Mary and Dave Neese, and they were a very close family. Even as Skylar got older, she still had a very close relationship with her parents. Skylar went to University High School, which actually offered 24 AP classes, one of the largest AP programs in the state. Skylar was a very reliable and social teenager. She never missed a day of work at the local fast food restaurant and was also known to have many friends. She had two particularly close best friends.
Her best friends' names were Sheila Eddy and Rachel Schoaf. Skylar and Sheila had actually been best friends since they were 8 years old. They were those types of friends that they would just walk right into each other's homes, no knock or anything, and Skylar's parents also treated Sheila like their other daughter they never had. The two of them had been inseparable. The girls met Rachel their freshman year of high school, and right away they all became very close friends. Each of them were excellent students, but also had a reputation for partying a little too hard. Their town, Star City, actually had an 11 p.m. curfew, so it wasn't uncommon for them, or really any other teenager in the town, to sneak out at night for whatever reason.
Skylar, Sheila, and Rachel were all very active on social media, as one is in this day and age, and all regularly used Twitter. You can see based on tweets that Skylar wrote on May 31st that said, quote unquote, "You're a two-faced bitch and obviously fucking stupid if you thought I wouldn't find out." And another, quote unquote, "Too bad my friends are having lives without me." That the girls were having a rough patch. This isn't something that I find strange because it's hard to constantly please a group of three, Often someone ends up feeling left out or what have you, but Skylar took to social media to show how she felt. July 6, 2012 was just like any other day. Skylar would have been on summer break by now, but she still did have her job at the fast food restaurant. Skylar's dad came home on break in the morning. He worked the night shift and tried to knock on Skylar's bedroom door to wake her up. He was going to give her the car for the day, but she would have needed to drive him back to work in the meantime. However, when she didn't answer him, he tried to open the door, which he found was locked. He got it open to find that Skylar wasn't in her room and her bed didn't look slept in.
At this point in the morning, Dave walked outside to their porch area and saw a small bench below Skylar's window, noticed her screen was popped out, and immediately concluded that she had snuck out during the night. Dave, now worried about Skylar's whereabouts, decided to call her best friend Sheila. She explained that the last time she talked to Skylar was at midnight and she didn't know where her current whereabouts were. Dave, still concerned, called Mary, which was Skylar's mom, and explained the whole situation. At first, Mary was not that concerned and stated, quote unquote, "Let's just wait and see. She's probably out and will show up for work at 4 o'clock. So they waited. And right around 4 is when they received a phone call from Skylar's boss, who was wondering if Skylar would be coming into work that day. At this moment, her parents decided not to wait around any longer and immediately called the police to report their 16-year-old daughter as a missing person. A single officer was sent out to the apartment to look around, and they reported that she did not appear to be a runaway due to several items such as her phone charger, her toothbrush, and extra clothes still remaining in her room.
All right, so side note here, I'm just not quite sure when we decided that taking your toothbrush with you was the determining factor for whether or not you ran away.
Good point. I mean, I wouldn't actually, I would include other things other than a toothbrush. I mean, a toothbrush seems like...
Where are you brushing your teeth if you run away?
The fucking river.
Yeah, right. That's the best case scenario. So it's not like I'd be like, hold on, I'm going to run away. Cell phone charger for the plug I don't have. Toothbrush to brush my teeth with the water I won't have. Like, I just thought that was the strangest, well, she didn't run away because her toothbrush is still here.
True. You would probably look for a wallet and clothing and backpack more than you would look for toothbrush. And, I guess...
Yo, socks and underwear, dude.
True.
The important things.
The toothbrush, you gotta have proper dental hygiene. My gosh, Panda.
Yeah, sorry. Well, anyway. So Mary and Dave go door to door and they ask every neighbor around to see if they saw or heard anything that night. Now, it's a very small town, so people hear and see, and I'm sure gossip a lot. So this was a hopeful start. But unfortunately, no one heard or saw anything. Later in the day, Sheila calls Mary and tells her, "Hey, look, actually, Skylar snuck out with me and Rachel last night. We picked her up around 11, and we drove around the town and we got high. But then I dropped her back off at 11:45, but it was at the end of the road because Skylar was afraid that someone would hear her sneaking back in." But learning this just made Mary really concerned now, thinking about the possibility that somebody had kidnapped Skylar from her walk from the end of the road back to the apartment.
Mary remembered that their parking lot had security cameras and hoped that maybe they'd find something to go off of to help search for Skylar. They called the landlord to get access to the footage, and what they find after watching the video is at 12:30 a.m., Skylar was running out behind the building near the dumpsters and into the back seat of a car. So at this point, they find that she willingly left her room. Unfortunately, the video footage is pretty dark and grainy, so they don't get much detail about the vehicle. The only description they get is that the car is a 4-door sedan and light in color. A few days had passed, and nothing was progressing with this case. Both Mary and Dave were concerned that the police were treating this case more as a runaway case and less of a missing person. With no new information, the police didn't have much to work with. The video was not clear enough to get a license plate, and supposedly no one had any details about her whereabouts.
Dave and Mary wanted to do all they could to get Skylar's name out there and get more people searching for her. Dave made a website called Team Skylar, and they tried to get the media involved. Sheila was over at their house almost daily, helping them distribute flyers and do whatever she could to help them. Soon after Skylar went missing, Rachel had gone away to a Catholic church summer camp. About 2 weeks later, a call came into Star City's dispatch saying that a woman in North Carolina, about 600 miles away, thought that she saw Skylar with a red-haired girl. Rachel has red hair, so this is a big hit. Now they think it's possible that Skylar ran away and Rachel skipped summer camp, and maybe they both took off together and went towards the beach. But just as Dave and Mary were about to leave to go to North Carolina, dispatch called the officer who notified them that it was indeed a false alarm. They had not located Skylar.
So now there were many rumors flying around about what could have happened to Skylar. One rumor involved Skylar having a secret boyfriend who was a troublemaker and persuaded her and her friends to go to his house party that night in Blacksville, which was only a town over from Star City. Police speculated that at this party, Skylar might have overdosed, causing her friends to panic and cover up her death. But seeing that this was just a speculation, nothing was able to be fully verified. Then Rachel came home from church camp, and the police wanted to talk to her to see if she knew anything about what was going on. Maybe she was aware of this house party. Despite their thoughts, Rachel didn't give any more details. The police were starting to get smart now and searched a little deeper into the video footage. With information about the possible house party in mind, they tried to piece together the route that Skylar would have been traveling after getting picked up in the car at 12:30. They checked for security footage from businesses along the route towards Blacksville, and they actually got something to go off of.
There was a convenience store that had just been built along the route, and because of this, they had a decently new surveillance camera, and they were able to get a much clearer image. What they saw was odd, to say the least. They saw a light-colored, at this point they were able to see that it was silver, four-door sedan traveling down the road, passing the convenience store. Based on the car in the parking lot surveillance video, we can estimate by travel time that the car passing the convenience store would be the same car if it had left the complex at 12:30. An officer from the Star City Police Department wanted to talk to both Rachel and Sheila to find out a little bit more about that night.
Both girls still denied going to any party that night, but when questioned separately, they had different accounts of directions and times that they were traveling. Since their stories didn't match up, the officers decided to dig a little deeper to find information. The police obtained both Rachel and Sheila's phone records for the evening, and it showed that they had in fact traveled to Blacksville, even though both girls denied being there. At this point, things really aren't adding up. They're both caught in a lie, but the police didn't have anything criminal to charge the girls with. Nothing that truly connected either of them with Skylar's disappearance. Until more concrete evidence appeared, there was nothing to do with this information. But the police still kept an eye on these girls.
Months began to pass, and there was nothing new to go off of. That is, until December 2012, when Rachel has a mental breakdown at her home. Her mom called 911 to report that her daughter was uncontrollable, crying, screaming, and hitting them. She was admitted into a psychiatric hospital where she stayed for 6 days. When she was released, she voluntarily went to the police. What she told them when she got there was, "We stabbed her." And when asked why she did it, she said, "We just didn't like her."
Pause.
Yeah.
This fucking bitch.
Yeah.
You killed your best friend because you didn't like her?
I mean, what in the world?
Yeah, that is the best comment. What in the world? What?
What?
All right.
It's frustrating.
Super frustrating. We're going to continue with this story,
Yeah.
and then we are going to get into some serious depth about what the fuck?
Precisely. So, Rachel had actually led the investigators to Skylar's body at this point, but it had snowed, and she couldn't specifically remember where they buried her, so they didn't initially find it.
About a week later, they found her body. They were not able to immediately identify Skylar's body due to decomposition from being left out in the summer and winter elements. They sent the body to the crime lab, and in March, they positively identified and released to the public that the body of Skylar Neese had been found. At this point, only Rachel had confessed, and they didn't have enough evidence to say that Sheila was technically involved. Sheila continued to act as though she had no involvement and was still tweeting about mourning her dear friend. The day that Skylar's body was identified, Sheila tweeted, quote unquote, "Rest easy, Skylar. You'll always be my best friend," with photos of her and Skylar captioned, "Worst day of my life."
She also started to tweet more questionable things like, quote unquote, "We really did go on 3," and "They say you remember the past better than it really was." According to Rachel, her and Sheila had been planning to kill Skylar for a month. One day in science class, they both decided that they just didn't like her anymore and that they would kill her, and that they wanted to do it before Rachel went away for camp. Catholic Church camp. Those words should not be said together with "let's kill our best friend."
I need to interject. What the fuck?
Couldn't have said it better. How do you go? Hold on. Let's kill her, and then let me go to Jesus camp. What the? What?
Maybe it's so that when she goes to Jesus camp,
she can be sorry for her sins.
That is so bad.
It doesn't give you an excuse. You can't go say sorry to Jesus and get away with murder, FYI. So anyways, Rachel also said that Sheila had gotten knives from her kitchen, and then she drove over to Rachel's dad's house to pick her up, which is also where they got a shovel. They had both packed a spare set of clothes and brought cleaning supplies with them, all of which they hid in the trunk, except the knives. Those they hid under their clothes.
Sheila drove over to Skylar's apartment, and as seen on surveillance footage, Skylar ran out to the car and got into the back seat. Then all 3 girls started heading towards a spot in Pennsylvania, an area that they've all gone to before to smoke in the woods. So, Skylar at this point would have no reason to be suspicious of anything. Once in the woods, one of the girls pretended like they forgot a lighter, and Skylar volunteered to go back to the car and get one. This is when both Sheila and Rachel counted to 3 and attacked Skylar.
Skylar did attempt to get away and actually managed to get the knife from Rachel and cut her knee, which is when Rachel kind of backed off. Sheila, however, didn't stop. According to Skylar's dad, in an interview on Investigation Discovery's TV show, See No Evil, Sheila said that after 50 stabs, she stopped counting. While Skylar was being stabbed, she even asked them, "Why? Why me?" The girls attempted to bury Skylar's body, but the ground was hard and rocky, so they couldn't dig a big enough hole. So they just dragged her body away from the road and covered it with dirt, sticks, and leaves. Then both of them changed their clothes, cleaned up, and left.
Honestly, these girls are monsters. Like, I have no idea how you go through any of this, but especially after she asks you why. Like, your best friend is asking you, "Why are you killing me?" And you continue. Like, that just doesn't make sense. How do you leave her there to die? What type of people are you?
Dude, I have no idea. Like, I'm kind of happy that Rachel stopped, but also, like, Rachel should have probably then called 911. Rachel should have intervened. If she felt at least a little remorse at that time to make her stop, maybe she should have, like, done something about it then. But like, no.
Sheila was so hardcore into this. Oh, sorry. Only after 50 is when I stopped counting. You counted 50 times of stabbing your best.
She's been your best friend since you were 8.
And
8.
Yeah.
You're 16. You've been friends for 8 years.
8 years. That is insane. You are monster. Like, Rachel, like, at some point, she's like, I feel like at some point she's probably like, "Oh, maybe we should stop," because she stopped.
No, I think Rachel got hurt and she was like, "Oh shit, that hurts."
True. You are selfish.
Yeah.
So, after all of that chaos, some justice was finally served, and Sheila Eddy was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, which she pled guilty and received a life sentence. Thank gosh.
Rachel Shove was arrested and charged with second-degree murder, to which she also pled guilty and received 30 years behind bars.
Rachel received a lighter sentence due to her cooperation with authorities and confession of the murder, which ultimately led to them finding the body and thus solving the case. Both girls were tried as adults. Dave, Skylar's father, believes that the girls didn't deserve any leniency from the courts and stated, quote unquote, they're both sickos, and they both are exactly where they need to be, away from civilization, locked up like animals. Because that's what they are. They're animals.
Side note, I have to say that I completely agree with Dave. There's literally no excuse for what they did, and they should both be serving life sentences. Neither of them, I mean, obviously, Sheila is getting a life sentence, but Rachel should be getting a life sentence too.
Mm-hmm. Because you both animals. You both sickos. Like,
you
girl.
are.
I actually completely love his quote.
Me too.
Can I actually just need to say it one more time because it's just amazing. Like, I mean, sucks for the circumstances, but it's fucking amazing. Dave says, they're both sickos, and they are both exactly where they need to be, away from civilization, locked up like animals, because that's what they fucking are.
They're
animals. Honestly, though, I freaking love Dave's quote. Like, you are animals, and you need to be locked up like one.
Skylar's family also helped change state laws, and a bill was passed, which is now called Skylar's Law, which updated the Amber Alert requirements and now require an Amber Alert for all missing children, even if they were not believed to be kidnapped. Even though this wouldn't have specifically helped in this instance, because she was killed before her parents even knew she was missing, it may help to save other lives in the future. Today, Skylar's family wants to make the best out of the worst and made a memorial site in the woods where she was found to make it a place for healing.
So, this was a crazy story, and I cannot even imagine this happening to my life. Like, just don't be her friend. Like, just say, hey, you know what? This isn't really working out. Rachel and I are becoming more friends, and we want to be friends, so, like, we'll see you later. We're not going to be your friend.
Yeah.
You don't have to freaking kill her.
No, you can be a little bit more cordial, or even at the least, if you don't want to be cordial, hey, ignore her. She'll get the hint eventually. But look, you don't have to go killing people.
Yeah, and then go to freaking church camp. What kind of Christian?
What is that?
What?
You are not doing it right. And
You are
I'm not religious.
You are not humaning right. Be a better human.
How in the world was Sheila the day after over at her, like, basically second parents' house being like, oh, don't worry, we'll find her, it's okay. Like, bitch, what?
You knew what happened to her this entire time. But
this case just brings out the worst in us,
it
honestly.
does.
Like, there is something about this.
Actually, I think it brings out the best in us because we're not trying to plot to kill each other. We're plotting to never kill each other because that's not what best friends do.
Right.
And can we also talk about how Rachel only got 30 years? I mean, Sheila absolutely deserves, like, a lifetime or 2 lifetimes. But, like, why did Rachel only get 30 years?
Yeah, just because you went and you actually confessed, like, I don't think that should be any less of a sentence. Like, say I murdered you right now, but then I went to the police and I was like, oh, by the way, guys, I murdered Sam.
Sorry,
like, that doesn't mean I should get off with a little bit less of a sentence.
No, not at all. Just because at that instance you kind of feel bad. I really wish Rachel had more than 30 years, like 50 years or something. Like, 30 is not a long time.
All right, so let's just wrap this all up here. How was your wine?
Seeing that we finished the entire bottle and now we're on our second bottle.
We had to open a second one.
We did, because we were all out, and that just can't happen with children killed. It was delicious.
It was clearly delicious.
We just downed it. It was honestly, we kept saying it was just like apple juice. Like, it just goes down. You don't taste that. It doesn't have like an alcohol-y taste. It's a very smooth, simple, fruity, sweet, but not too sweet, but not dry. It's not dry at all.
It's not dry.
Perfect wine.
Yeah. I would highly recommend. Actually, it is kind of hard to find from what I've seen. This specific one, the Sauvignon Blanc. I love that. Me
that
too.
Is so cute.
But because most of the time, like most package stores I go to, are just stocked with their red wines. So when I saw this, and it was really funny, I went to like a very small, like just in town package store, and I saw that they had a white wine. So I grabbed it immediately, and I was like, perfect. But yeah, if you find this, grab it. It was good. And the bottle in itself is really cool. The cork is cool. I'm keeping the cork.
For sure.
Yeah.
Do you
So-
remember what the price point was on that?
It was, I think, $12.
Hmm.
Because let's be real, it's me.
Yeah, no more than $20 on a bottle of wine.
Yeah, and honestly, typically no more than like $13.
True.
Like $20 is a hella cap, but really I'm not even making it there.
Say we have like a wicked awesome episode to talk about, we'll splurge a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So actually, since we did finish, we actually just opened up another bottle
Because
of
naturally.
Riesling, so I might as well just say that while we're here. To be quite honest, this Riesling is a little lacking.
Yeah.
It'll do, but I liked the wine we were just drinking better.
Relax Riesling is the one we go with. This is not Relax. I like Relax Riesling a lot better. This
Yeah,
one
me
is
too.
subpar.
This one literally says Riesling.
It doesn't even have a name.
There's a castle on it, and it says Wine of Romania, which is not where I really intend to get my Riesling from. I want German Riesling, but that's okay. This is also 12%, as was the 19 Crimes, so it'll do.
It'll make it work, but still not the
but
greatest. We
also,
found a
I
wine
know-
that we're not crazy about.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy this again, but I know I bought this wine. It was like $6, so
Makes sense why it's not the greatest.
I don't know. So anyway, I think that's all I really have for this week. So what about you? Do you have anything else to say?
Not really. So I guess we'll finish this off with just saying thank you so much for listening this week. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Chilled and Killed Podcast, or send us an email with any questions, comments, or any requests that you may have at chilledandkilledpodcast@gmail.com. And we'll be back next time to talk about the Gainesville Ripper. Until next time, bye!